So good morning to all of you. A warm welcome to our honorable guests and all students. So on behalf of Matrix Schools of Management Studies, I, Dr. Harshali Gomase, welcome to our guest of honor, Dr. Dhananjay Pingay sir, and the students of Matrix MBA first year and second year students for a session on taxation system in India under the 4 dimension series lecture series which we have started for students from last year under the guidance of our honorable director Dr. Satish Rai sir. The main objective to start the 4 dimension series is to improve the knowledge of students and also communicate to our guest speaker. Dear students, Dr. Dhananjay Pingay sir is a head of PhD Center at Adhara Patil Institute of Management and Research Center. Sir, having an experience of more than 15 years in academics and corporate. Sir is the professional technical consultant in research-based development sectors. Sir has conducted various training programs for corporate employees. Sir has excellent skill in statistics, economics, technical writings and analytics, monitoring and evaluation, and more. Sir has published various papers in recognized journals. Sir worked as a national technical consultant at International Labour Organization project in New Delhi. Sir has awarded by state government of Maharashtra for playing a role of monitor and evaluator specialist in projects. Wow. So without waste of my time, I request to our guest, Dr. Dhananjay Pingay sir, to take charge of the session. Sir, over to you. And before, sir, I just request to our students, just turn their camera. So we'll click a photo with you, sir. So students, please turn your camera. All students. Yes. Sir, please start the session. Hello, Pingre sir, am I audible? Your voice is not clear, sir.
And take this snap. Actually, I was trying to text you in the Zoom meeting app, but
Yes.
nobody is looking at it. So I messaged number of text there. Okay.
Yes.
So total 75 students are there.
Yeah.
Yeah, very nice, very good. So how are you, students? All well? You could speak. You can text in the chat box so that it could be an interactive session. So today we are going to see the Indian tax system. I think everybody knows what is the income tax, what GST, what octroi was, and what is the reason for collecting taxes from the people. So it's not kind of the rocket sciences that we are talking about, but we are now going to get the deeper insights of the tax system and why that particular tax is levied by the government. So this was the main agenda of the today's session. So initially, I can say thank you for this opportunity for me to interact with the students. And students, I also have hope that you will not be bored with my session. And the title of the today's session is the overall overview of the Indian tax system. So now, yes. So now you are looking at my screen, right? Is it visible? The screen is visible now. Can you see my screen?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yeah, thank you. I will switch off my video now.
Yeah.
Okay. So first of all, taxation is something the government practice for collecting money from its citizen or legal entities to pay for public services. This money is collected by imposing taxes on individual or corporate entities. Tax is the basis for taxation. So, we people know government collects tax and it works on civil societies like road constructions or public services would be maintained by the government for the public. So this is the general way that we are looking at the tax structure or the why government is collecting tax. But there is one another thing. If you look at the any company, any industry, so what would be the proportion? There will be, you must know, there will be four factors of production in economic terms, like labor, capital, right? And you can text into the chat box whatever you knows, right? So there is a labor, capital. Yeah, you can speak, please. You unmute yourself and you can talk to me. Labor is there, capital is there.
Good morning,
Then
sir.
good morning, entrepreneur is there. And what is left?
Sir,
Yeah,
sir, land, labor, capital, and entrepreneur.
exactly. And if you know, if there is a company having 100 crores of profit or 1 crore of profit, so what would be the distribution? How much employees get, how much owner get, and how much the investors get from the business activity? So if you look at the example from automobile industry, uh, uh, 7 to 8% profit is shown on the books for the any automobile company. And labor, in terms of labor charges or the salary expenditure, it is almost 2 to 3% of out of total profit. So what you see, it is the complete imbalance of economic activities when the firm is utilizing the natural resources of a country, whatever they earn, whatever they make a profit. So it is not equally distribution among the society. So owners and the rich persons are getting richer and the poor are getting more poor. So tax system helps to equalize all the society imbalances. We call it income imbalances, and that is very much possible because of the tax structures. So tax is always decided upon what is the imbalances, differences between the the citizens of the Indians in terms of their financial positions. So somebody say if there is a business, I can say one example. So I am an entrepreneur, I earn 30 lakh rupees, then I have to pay more. I have to pay taxes more. So is there any justification for this? If I put my own efforts, then why should I pay the tax? It is not the government that is helping me to sell my product, or it is not government which is motivating my employees. So if I put my efforts, my skills, my entrepreneur skill, I earn profit, and again I have to pay to government in terms of income tax. So why this income tax or tax is to be paid to the government? Because I am putting my own efforts. So is there any justification with you people? Why should we pay the income tax? Right? So for the taxation, is there any your opinion on this? Is it okay to pay the government tax, or it is not okay to pay the government tax? If I'm putting my own efforts, if I am a professor, I am earning some amount, I have to pay income tax. So why? I completed my own education, I put my own efforts into the day and I earn my salary, and again I have to pay to government. So why it is a big question? So is there any kind of guess opinion among the students to put their opinion on this? Yeah,
Sir, we
please, Anurag, you can please. Yeah.
hello,
Tell
sir.
me.
Suraj here. Sir, we are by doing this, we are actually using the national resources, na? I mean,
Okay.
by now we are supposed to use these resources and earn anything. So that may be the reason to pay the tax.
Yes, exactly. But who are not earning much, they are not paying much taxes. So taxes is always levied on the person who is putting more efforts. So will it be a motivational or not? Otherwise, I am not going to motivate myself to earn more money. There is a live example of Adani, right? What is happening right now in the market. So if I put my own skills, okay, resources are there, right? But I am paying for resources as well. If I am using the land of India, I am paying the price for this land. If I utilizing raw material, if I utilizing human resources, I am paying for that. So after paying all the payments to the resources, then again I have to pay for income tax. So why? So that is my question. Is there any kind of justification with you people? It is not the government giving me resources in free and I am utilizing it and earning money and then I am paying tax. Your answer is correct. We are using national resources, but still we are paying for that. Is there any free of cost that given for the industries? Is there any kind of justification for this? Because I'm damn sure that you people very well know what is tax, what is the types, blah blah. You perfectly know this. But you have to understand what would be the logical reasoning behind levying the taxes. Why every year tax slabs are going to be changed? Is there any opinion from the students?
Sir, may you repeat your question, please?
Yeah, I'm no, the answer is given by Anurag that we are using national resources so that we have to pay tax.
No,
But my
excuse me,
point
sir.
is, yeah,
I didn't give the answer. I think Mr. Suraj gave.
anybody, whoever give the answer, the
Yes, sir.
justification was we are using national resources and again, so that we can pay tax. But my justification is if we are using national resources, we are paying for the national resources already. So again, why we should have to pay tax? Who is the cute boy? Atul Sahib Rao. Something is there. Okay.
Sir,
Huh.
sir, as you said, I have completed my degrees, I have completed my study and
Yeah.
doing perfectly all right in my life. Like I'm earning so much. So
Right.
government is binding me to pay taxes.
Right.
So this is for the the schools you have used, the education system you have used, the resources you have used, the roads you are using right now is
Yes,
made by government. So
exactly. But
government
I
needs some
am,
funds to develop our India.
exactly. But when I use road, I pay road tax separately. Toll charges I am paying separately. If I use schools,
Hmm.
I am giving school fees, right? If I am using water, I am paying water tax. So when I pay all the taxes, then again I have to pay income tax. We people are paying taxes out of our income, which is almost 77%. It is not 10% income tax. On each and everything we are paying taxes. If you club all the taxes altogether, it is almost 77%. So while paying taxes, there are two different things, just think upon a person one, person A and person B. Person A is not educated, not putting their efforts, he is very poor, and person B is putting their efforts, completed education, paid for education, earning more money. Then the person B has to pay more taxes, and person A, which is doing nothing, is getting subsidy. He's getting scholarships. He's getting, kind of facilities for him. BPL, ration card, sub, everything he is getting out of the pocket, which are taxpayers had paid to government. So is it not that the government is pushing laziness among the citizenship in the citizen? So that kind of thought process we should be having with us. So the point I am putting here, it is called a leftist point, right? And look, it is okay, ki government, we have to pay taxes for this, but there should be one limitations, right? And they are calculating taxpayers based on this, the how many taxpayers are eligible now, and they are considering the GDP of the India. So for this particular year, what would be the estimate for the GDP, and based on that, how many taxpayers would be there in the current slab of tax paying. So based on that, they are deciding for the next year. So recently budget has published, right? So we can say that for the individual person, there would be a 7 lakh rupees, there is no tax for the income of 7 lakh rupees, up to 7 lakh rupees. So this kind of thought process we should be maintained, while we should be having a curiosity for understanding tax system. So now I am moving to the next slide. Yeah. Tax is a financial charges imposed on individual or company by central government or state government. So that is very common thing to understand. Collected taxes amount is used for building nation infrastructure and other development, to increase arms and ammunition for defense of country and other welfare related work. That's why it is said that taxes are paid, nation are made. But there are few countries in world, those are not charging any tax. Do you have an idea which are those countries? So there is no tax. There is no tax. There is no income tax. Anybody knows the country? There is no income tax.
Dubai, it's Dubai, sir.
Exactly. If Dubai is the UAE, you can say it. If there is no tax, then we can say then country should not be made. If there is a notion that taxes are paid and nation are made, so how Dubai is made if there is no tax? So it is basically utilizing the available resources in efficient manner, which is made country, not the taxes. It is not the taxes that made the nation. This session, I am not going to cover the topic, syllabus, nothing. I am giving you some few wild thoughts in your mind. So you should be think upon. So the last sentence that I written in every book, you can say it. If we are justification, we're justifying the tax structure. You can say taxes are paid, nation are made. But how Dubai is made, and it is more progressing than India. It is basically, you can say they are exporting the oil, but we people as India also have something to export in a superior manner. So why we should not focus on that to make a country instead of levying taxes on the hardworking people? So that is my my insight to this. for the today's session. Then significance of the taxation. I am actually criticizing the tax structure. I am not providing justification for the tax structure. The primary purpose to generate funds, revenues to defray expenses incurred by the government in promoting the general welfare of its citizens. So again, this is the prime responsibility of government to, facilitate the welfare of its citizens, right? But when it is the welfare, we always say government is invisible hand. So government efforts could not be rectified, could not be specifically identified, right? So I will give one example. If there is a village, any village you just assume, any kind of village, you just assume. In that particular village, there should be, maybe there may be 1,000 people are living or 2,000 people are living. So at least one person in a village which is richer than the other peoples. Have you got this insight sometime? Have you thought upon this? Any small village is having at least one person which is richer than the other citizens, other villagers. Have you got that insight somewhere sometime? Have you observed this thing? Any kind of small village having one richer person. Are you agree with me? He may be owning any shop or running any hotel, but he is more richer than the other persons. And government is forcing him to pay taxes. So the reason behind becoming rich for that person is that he is utilizing the resources in efficient manner as compared to others. But while using the resources, government is providing facilitation. Government is providing environment. Government is providing favorable rules and regulations so that he can utilize the resources in a well manner. So, am I made my point clear? Why taxes should be paid to the government? In the first instance, I said that we are putting our efforts, we are utilizing the resources, though we have to pay taxes. The justification for this, if a person utilizing resources, it is the conditions made favorable by the government to utilize the resources. Otherwise, it's very difficult. Is that clear? Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, is that clear or no? You can use chat box to respond to my questions, please. Otherwise, I will not proceed further. If I made my point, you are agree with this, we can go to the next slide. Okay, so there are two types of taxes on the basis of volume and on the basis of form. The first is single tax system and the multiple tax system. On the basis of form, there is a direct and indirect. That is very well known. So on the basis of income consumption method, so there would be a 4 types: proportional tax, progressive tax, regressive tax, and degressive tax. Now we are looking at these few concepts just to get understanding about what is a tax called a single tax system. In a single tax system, it does not mean that tax on only one person, but it is a tax on only one thing, on one class or one class of people. So this is called single tax system. So for example, we can say under this single tax system, India can impose taxation only on service providers or only on manufacturers or only on traders. So this is called single tax system. In the multiple tax system, a multiple tax refers to the tax system in which taxes are levied on various items. A modern economy is not one objective economy. It tries to forge ahead simultaneously along the paths of growth, equitable distribution of income and wealth, economic stabilization, and so on. So in case of India, what kind of tax system you can observe? Is it a single tax system or multiple tax system? So in India, let me answer. In India, it's the multiple tax system that is used, that is imposed, and that is regulated by the government. Now, on the basis of income or consumption method. So you should be understanding what is income, what is consumption, right? So when we use, I will give the example again to understand this concept properly. Yeah. Okay. It is visible now, right? I can write something over there on the board. So if you have 10,000 of income, if you have 10,000 of income, and if you spend 8,000 rupees out of this 10, if you pay 8,000 rupees, so you save 2,000 rupees, right? 10,000 is income, 8,000 is the spending, and savings is 2,000 rupees. So on the basis of consumption, the tax is levied on 8,000 rupees, not on the 2,000 rupees or not on the 10,000 rupees. So whatever consumption you made, it is levied the tax in the first system, right? On the income and the consumption. And then for the income, if you get 10,000 rupees as a salary, you have to pay income tax on completely 10,000 rupees, right? And the another way is that the saving of this 2,000 rupees, we have to pay tax if there is a tax on savings. But in India, we pay for the income, not for the consumption. So that when we pay for income, we have a limitations for our consumptions. In income tax slab, you must be aware about the standard deduction. So whatever your income would be, if your salary is 8 lakh, 10 lakh, 5 lakh, there is a standard slab of 1.5 lakh rupees. That is 1.5 lakh rupees is the standard deduction. What is that standard deduction mean to us? It is the amount which is completely tax free. So if I earn 5 lakh rupees, if I earn 5 lakh rupees, out of that 5 lakh, I need not to pay a tax on first 1.5 lakh rupees. So that my lifestyle, my living standard would be accommodated between this 1.5 lakh rupees. Now, if a person is earning 10 lakh rupees, he is also getting same rebate, tax-free standard deduction of 1.5 lakh rupees. So the person with 10 lakh rupees and person with 5 lakh rupees is having same standard of living that is imposed by the government. But if you want to make your life standard more richer, more suitable to you, then then you have to pay taxes on this. So after my standard deduction, I have to pay tax. If I spend more money, then I would have to pay more taxes. So for these subsidies are coming into the income tax. For income tax subsidy, if I purchased a home, a housing loan, then I could get another standard deduction. So that is my consumption. So I will get some benefits. So these are the policies with the government to facilitate the economic activities. So it is actually reflecting from the tax structure. Now, the proportional tax is the mechanism in which the taxing authority charges the same rate of tax for each taxpayer, irrespective of income. This means that lower, middle, or upper class people pay same amount of tax. Same way, India has, practicing the taxing system. So there is a tax slabs. It's not the flat tax. Everybody has to pay 30,000 rupees as income tax at the end of the every year. No, there are slabs. For 5 lakh, no tax. 5 lakh 1 rupees, there would be 12,000 rupees tax. It was earlier. Now the slabs are changed. Up to 7 lakh rupees, now there is no income tax. So this kind of slabs give us the understanding about the proportional tax system. Now in progressive tax, a progressive tax is one which the tax authority charges more taxes to the taxpayer. So as your tax is going to be increased, you have to pay more taxes, but there is a limit 30%. Any salary income can get the more than 30%, can pay 30% income tax after the certain limit. That would be we are going to discuss over here. So in India is having a combination of proportional tax as well as progressive tax, so that all taxpayers can be accommodated into the system, and there would not be any difficulty on the person who is having any kind of issue for paying tax. So in the next slide, yes. Yes. Now the regressive tax. Regressive tax is a tax that takes a larger percentage from low income people than from high income people. A regressive tax is generally a tax that is applied uniformly. So this is called regressive tax. It takes a larger percentage from low income people from high income people. So this could be the point I raised earlier, ki poor people are not putting their efforts for increasing income, but government giving them a subsidy or any kind of help, financial help. But the people who struggle hard, who put their effort, those are motivated, can do very good and earn money, and government is asking to pay them a tax. So in the regressive tax, this is not the way. If you are not earning, then you have to pay. If you are earning, then you need not to pay. So my question is for this you people, you students. So you all are up to the age of at least 20 to 23 years, right? So what is your income contribution to the family? In general, if you are a student, you are not contributing a single penny, or not you are contributing a 1 rupee at least to your family. So you people should be levied tax. If there is a tax, then you can work hard to earn an income, so that there should not be a tax liability on you. So this is the regressive tax system to motivate the work culture. So this is not exercise in India. We people don't follow this, but I as a person, I can recommend. I can say this should be the tax system. If the person who is having income less than 2 lakh rupees have to pay tax at least 1%, so that he can work hard. If he crosses or she crosses the income by 2 lakh, 3 lakh, 5 lakh, then there will be some tax benefit given to the person. So that should be the tax system in India, as a suggestion from my side. You can think upon, you can criticize it, no issue, but you should develop your understanding and maturity for understanding the tax structure in this total session. Now, degressive tax. A degressive tax is one on which tax is progressive up to a certain limit. After that, it is proportional. That is charged at flat rate, which is exercised exactly in India. Degressive tax. After 10 lakh, 12 lakh rupees, there is 30% fixed tax slab. We can see it in the later slides. Now, so this is the conclusion of the entire, the session. See, this is the tax structure in India. So there is the income tax, and there is a direct tax, indirect tax. Then direct tax is classified into two types: income tax and corporate tax. And the indirect tax is classified again into two categories. First is central tax and state government tax. For the central tax, it is excise. Now it is gone. It's completely GST. Excise tax on the production and manufacturing of goods, service tax, customs. Customs are there still. Excise gone, service tax gone. Then central sales tax. That is again, there is few rules are there for the central sales tax, which is applied for the few goods. Then applied on the movement of goods from one state to another, and that is gone. It is left now. Then entertainment tax, octroi, luxury tax, lottery tax, etc. Every tax is levied under the head of GST. So we have to pay excise tax, service tax, customs, central sales tax, VAT, entertainment tax. Everything we have to pay tax, but now it is called GST. state share and the central government share. Both are there. So this is the tax structure in India. Now, on the basis of form of taxes, this is direct taxes. Direct taxes, those which are paid by the person on whom these are imposed, and real burden is also borne by them. So these are income tax, capital gain tax, securities transaction tax, perquisite tax, corporation tax, gift tax, expenditure tax, and wealth tax. Now, you can see the, the beauty of the tax system. If you earn money, you have to pay tax. If you earn money on the capital, if you invested somewhere and you got the dividend, you have to pay tax. On this dividend also, you need to pay tax, right? Right? So you have to pay taxes on income, taxes on capital gain, taxes on securities tax, transaction tax, perquisite tax. If you get some, some good thing to you, then you have to pay tax. Corporation tax is again different, which is called the, when you are living in a corporation like PCMC, Pune area, Pimpri-Chinchwad area, or any kind of corporation form there. So they have their own local taxes differently. If you're living in a one flat, you have to pay property tax over there. Then gift tax. For example, if any person gives you some property, any land or any flat, you have to pay tax on the gift also. And now it is equal. Earlier it was different. Earlier, if you gift a flat or residential apartment to one person, there is no tax. There is no stamp duty. Tax in terms of stamp duty, there is no stamp duty. But now there is a stamp duty. As you do the purchase deed, similar tax or the stamp duty you have to pay to the government if you gift something to somebody. So every movement of money is having a tax. That is, in a simple fashion, you can say any movement, any transaction of money is having a tax. Then expenditure tax. You have to pay expenditure tax also. If you spend money, even you go to the movie for entertainment, you have to pay tax. Then wealth tax, some people are getting, the earning from the rent, from the wealth. If the wealth is highly valued, then again you have to pay tax. Now, Income Tax Act actually came into force on 1961. It charges on total income of every person, and it doesn't look at the business type. It is just the tax we have to pay. So we just have to pay the income tax. Income tax is not looking at the source. From which source you are getting income, it doesn't care by the income tax department. If you earn money, you have to pay money. You have to pay taxes. That would be the the role of different departments to look into it, the source of the income. But whatever income you have to disclose and you have to pay taxes. If you don't pay taxes, then it will the income is termed as the black money. So this is called the black money. If the earning or the monetary transaction is not recorded, is not visible, and if you're not paying tax, it will call as the black money. Right? Then every individual whose total income exceeds taxable limit has to pay income tax based on the prevailing rates applicable time to time. It is levied and collected by the central government. Income tax is the part of central government. Income tax is a very important source of income of the central government. So for the central government, income tax is a major source of income for facilitating their policies and their expenditures for the public welfare. Now, these are the tax slab. If you look at this tax slab for the financial year 2020-23, so which is coming to end by this 31st March 2023, and the assessment year would be 23-24. So for this time period, for the financial year, there is no tax up to 2,50,000 rupees. So that is a standard deduction. So now you can raise your living standard, but it is not possible because this 2,50,000 is a reflection of the inflation, ratio in India. Now there is a very huge inflation is there. That's why 2,50,000 is not sufficient to maintain a good standard of living. If you compare to the US and India, in the US, that is said, I'm not, it is said that in US, the prisoner, the life standard getting by the prisoner is equivalent to the life standard maintained by the class 1 officer in India. So the facilities, the way the living standard maintained by the prisoner in US now, it is similar to the first class 1 officers in India. So you can see how far we are from the standard of living, of a good standard of living, right? Then for 2,50,000 to 5 lakh rupees, there are 5% income tax which to be paid. That is 12,500 rupees. And then after 5 lakh to 7.5 lakh, there would be a 10%. So 12,500 plus 10%. Okay. For this new regime. Then if we see 25% taxes from 12,000, 50,000 to 15 lakh rupees. 12 lakh 50,000 to 15 lakh rupees. And more than 15 lakh, there is a flat rate of tax, which is 30%, that I told you earlier. So this is the combination of tax system. The flat system is there, proportionate is there, on expenditure is there. So this is the perfect combination of the tax system to reflect the diversity of Indian people, right? So this is the combination. These are the tax slabs. Now, the capital gain tax. Capital gain tax, as name suggests, it is a tax on gain in capital. If you sell property, shares, bonds, precious metal like gold, etc., and if you earn profit on it, you have to pay tax. So this is the capital gain tax. So if I bought a share of Tata Motors, say now it is 450 something. So after some time, in the 10, 12 years, if the share price is, raised, then whatever earning I made, I have to pay taxes. Just hold on, please. Yeah, I'm sorry, there was a phone call. Okay, then the security transaction tax. Security transaction tax is applicable on every transaction done at a stock exchange. So that means if one buy and sell equity shares or derivatives instrument, tax is applicable. So you can see any kind of source of income is levied a tax by the government. So in this way, it's very difficult actually as compared to the other countries for the tax system. Now the perquisite. What is perquisite? Earlier to perquisite tax, we had a tax called FBT, fringe benefit tax. So there are malpractices made by the industries. So if you see, you people also getting job placement after completion of your MBA or any master degree. So we see the people are having packages in industry like 40 lakh, 45 lakh, 50 lakh rupees package. So just consider if a person is having package of 20 lakh rupees. So how much tax he is going to pay or she is going to pay, right? For 30, for 20 lakh rupees, he has to pay 30% tax. It's almost 2,62,500 rupees, almost 3 lakh rupees tax he have to pay on his income, on the salary. Then other taxes are different. Whatever he's spending, these another different taxes are there. He has to pay. So in India, the companies are following practices. They are showing 40 lakh rupees CTC, 40 lakh rupees CTC to the person. But actually in monetary terms, they are paying only 10 lakh rupees, 12 lakh rupees, so that the person can get a tax benefit. And the remaining amount, which is say for 8 lakh or 22 lakh rupees, they are giving in terms of facilities like car provided by the company, like tourism facilities, vacation facilities provided by the company, residential facilities provided by the company. So all these costs to the company is actually levied as a fringe benefit. Now it is called as a perquisite tax. Then government has thought ki there are the malpractices. Total spending on the person in terms of salary is 40 lakh rupees, but on paper it shows only 12 lakh rupees to to save the taxes. So for this reason, government has decided to apply a tax on the benefits that has the person getting from the company. That is called fringe benefit tax. Now, which was abolished in 2009 for the employer to employee. If your company provides a non-monetary benefit like car with driver, club membership, employee, stock exchanger, that has to be the tax has to be paid, right? Now it is abolished, but the entire salary is now under the coverage of the tax deduction. But the amount of salary is to be reflected from the bank account of the taxpayer. So company given you appointment letter of 40 lakh rupees, but in fact they paid only 12 lakh rupees. Then you only have to pay income tax on 12 lakh rupees, not on the 40 lakh rupees as per your appointment. So this is the the actual money you get on your bank account is to be considered for income tax purpose. Then the corporation tax is annual taxes like water tax, road tax, everything is there. And if you see, we are living in, for example, we are living in a Pune boundary of Pune Municipal Corporation. So we have to pay central government tax, state government tax, and even corporation tax as well. So the 3-4 types of taxes we have to pay if we have to survive in the citizenship, right? Then the gift tax. Gift tax in India is regulated by the Gift Tax Act, which was constituted on 1st April 1958. If someone receives gift from someone, it is to, it is clubbed into the income, and then you need to pay tax on it. So it's clubbed, right? So gift is clubbed, but when transaction is made for the gifting some property, then the separate stamp duty has to be paid. For example, if I sold my house, right? If I sold my house, and I exchanged my house for 20 lakh rupees. So when I made a purchase deed, I have to pay stamp duty on 20 lakh rupees by the purchaser. And the seller, that is me, I have to pay income tax on 20 lakh rupees. So these are the tax systems in India, right? So purchaser, the transaction is made for the transferring of the right on the property. So this is called the purchase deed, and the stamp duty has to be paid. But when I sold my flat and I earned 20 lakh rupees, on that income again I have to pay taxes. So these are the few things that we need to consider and keep in mind. Then expenditure tax. This is called the consumption tax. It is a tax which is assessed on expenditure or amount of spend. It is defined as a fee which is charged and collected by government on a commodity, activity, or income. So this is some a different kind of tax system is there which is levied on the expenditure. Sorry. Okay. Then there is a wealth tax. It is imposed on property individual depending upon the value of property. Property, if valued more, and if it is liquidated, then you have to pay tax. If it is not liquidated, then you did not to pay tax. That is pretty clear in your mind. See, if I purchased one vacant land in 1980, and it was that time 4,000 rupees. Now the value of that property vacant land is now 1 crore rupees. Then I need not to pay tax right now. But if I have to sell the property and if I have to liquidate the property, then I have to pay tax. Otherwise, no. Then indirect taxes. So these are the indirect taxes: central sales tax, entertainment tax, custom duty, central excise, and service tax. Value-added tax now gone. It's the GST now. We can maybe having another session on GST. So for understanding the tax system, we must know this kind of taxes. Though now VAT is not there, GST is there, but understanding GST, we first know the VAT. What is VAT, and why these changes has been happened to removing VAT, service tax, excise duty, and replacing with the GST. This is to attract the FDI, foreign direct investment, in the India, because in over the world, GST is actually performed, which is levied, which is regulated in other countries. And if someone has to invest in India for any kind of business, the tax system should be easy to understand. Previously, it was not, it was not pretty clear. It was very much confusing when to pay excise, how to take mode VAT. There is a mode VAT system, the rebate is getting from the manufacturer to dealer. So it's very complicated. It was there at that time. So now it is clear, GST, right? Sales the proportion of the central and the portion of the state government. So it's very pretty clear now. You can see GST printed on your restaurant bill also. If you get somewhere, you will get the printed copy of the GST, and there is the GST tax is mentioned over there. So it's very clear, so that foreigners or the foreign investors can get pretty clear understanding about the tax structure in India, so that they can invest in India. That's why the GST is implemented in India, right? It is not to earn more or higher to the government. It actually, there is no income differences happen on larger scale because of the VAT, because of the GST. It was similar, only the nomenclature is different. VAT is gone and GST is kept, but the same structure, slightly changes are there. Central Sales Tax Act came into force on 1st July 1957. Is applied to whole of India, Jammu Kashmir, and it is imposed by government on particular commodity within country. Then central sales tax is imposed under both central government and state government. Rate of CST was 2% or less. Now it is gone. Now it is GST. But few commodities are there. Those are charged central, sales tax. Now entertainment tax, that is there. Entertainment tax is there. Now we call it the GST. GST is printed on the movie tickets. It's called the central entertainment tax, which is charged from cinema owners who recover it from cinema viewers. In other words, tax imposed by state government on every financial transaction that is related to entertainment. Tax rates vary from state to state from 0% to 110%. Look at the prices of entertainment taxes. 110%. Right? Movie tickets, show exhibition, cable services, DTH services, everything is coming under the entertainment tax. Now only entertainment tax is removed and it is called as GST. But tax slabs are there. We have to pay taxes on the entertainment. Then the custom duty, which is applicable on the import of goods in India and export from India. These import-export duties are actually a good thing to flourish the cottage industries in India. So if you see Apple iPhone, how much price is now? Apple iPhone 14 or something.
1 lakh above, sir.
Yeah. So why this is highly priced in India? Because it is still imported. There is no manufacturing facility in India right now. So if it is there, so it is to promote the Indian businesses. If there is a for example, if you have to import the onion or tomato, and if you impose high import duty, then prices of tomato onion is rising in India, so that the people will attract to the cheaper product, which is manufactured in India, so that Indian industries can grow. So this is the import duty in terms of regulating the product and encouraging the Indian businessmen. So that's why this import and custom duties are levied, right? Then one has to pay duty on goods import from foreign country into India. That tax payable at the port of port entry. At the time goods are coming on the port, that time it is classified, the bills are checked, and then the tax is levied. And it is, once the goods says that there will be, it is very difficult to get the goods in, again in the custody. That is very difficult. Then, I can share one case study that just I recently, I was the consultant for one company, Decon India in Chakan. So they exported material to Germany. And what happened in Germany, when it's actually the ship was landing, ship was on we can say in a it is passing away. There were a strike by the dock employees, and the ship has to hang on these on the ocean or the dock for consequently 7 days. So the charges levied by the shipping company is 10 times larger than the regular price. And again, these charges which is paid by the company has to pay taxes to the government. So this is some kind of complications may arise in terms of custom duty and the overseas transactions. So, and there is the taxes are levied based on the nature of item, not on the price of item. So that is most important thing, right? In the VAT, which is levied on the price, not the item. But in the custom duty, it is levied on the nature of item. The central excise duty, which is actually levied on the natural resources utilized by the companies. So this is called the excise duty, right? Now I will speed up. Now I think, okay. Okay. Now, central excise is there, which is enacted on 1944. It is charged on such accessible goods that are manufactured in India for domestic consumption. It is only for domestic consumption. If it is going to be export, then there is no central excise duty. Then there will be a export duty should be levied. And facilitating differentiation for this export duty, in between government has declared this SEZ area, SEZ, special economic zone, in which only export oriented industries are allowed to do their businesses or their manufacturing, right? It is paid by the producer of goods who recovers it from wholesalers and retailers. It also known CENVAT, Central Value Added Tax. Excise is a duty, not a tax. Tax rate varies from product to product. Now we need to understand why it is duty and not a tax. Can anybody tell me what is your wild guess on this? Why it is duty, not a tax? What is the difference between duty and tax? I will take only 5 minutes now. 5-10 minutes में खत्म हो जाएगा. So, can you understand the duty and the tax? Anybody can tell me. See, tax is something, it's compulsory, it's mandatory to pay. It is an obligation. It is a financial obligation that you must have to pay a tax. And if you not pay the tax, it would be a punishable offense, right? But duty, it is the fee, it is a kind of fee which is payable to the government for utilizing the resources. Now I will tell you one real life case study of one company. I'm not going to disclose the name. So this company is basically into the manufacturing of cars and commercial vehicles, and there is one economic consultant over there. So that time excise duty was 16% on the value of the product, right? 16%. So that person, that consultant, has made one research paper and mentioned that the duty of 16% should be minimized, should be reduced to the 10%. And that was accepted by the government. Can you believe, is it possible? You can propose government to reduce the tax slabs? Is it possible? I can show you. If this is the case of car industry. So if I manufacture a car and the cost of manufacturing car is 8 lakh rupees, I am selling it. I am selling it into 10 lakh rupees, right? Cost of production is 8 lakh and selling is 10 lakh. So I have to pay duty 16% on 10 lakh rupees. That was the rule. Okay. Now, if I somehow I introduced good technology and I reduced the cost of production to 6 lakh rupees, right? 6 lakh rupees. This is my cost of production, 6 lakh rupees. Then again, though still I have to pay excise duty on 10 lakh rupees, right? So my proposal to the government was, earlier I was using 8 lakh rupees resources of government and earning 10 lakh rupees. Now I am using only 6 lakh of rupees of resources. So that's in terms, I reduced my consumption. I conservative approach I used for manufacturing the car, and I saved 2 lakh rupees natural resources of government, so that I need to be pay the excise tax only on 6 lakh rupees, not on the price. And if whatever profit I earn, I can pay income tax. That is very simple. And that was accepted by the government. And that consultant was very regarded as economic consultant to the, one company. And it was good initiative that, he has started. So, but it is not always, to every company have to, it's not possible to every company to make this kind of analysis. So this is the role of economic analyst in the tax structure. Okay. Now, service tax. Service tax is levied on aggregate amount charged by the service provider on the receiver. The tax is permitted to be paid on value received. It is applicable to all of India. It has no separate act. It falls under Finance Act 1994 and was imposed by Dr. Manmohan Singh. The service tax rate was 15%. So if we say, are you an entrepreneur or serviceman? So you said I'm a service, I'm doing job. So that service is not covered under this kind of service tax. We call it as a profession. We are a professional. We are not a serviceman. In which any company you work, it would be your profession, not a service. But if you're hospitalized, if you are having dinner, lunch, restaurant, then service tax is applicable. Okay. So this is the difference. VAT, it was now vanished. So there is now GST. Then there are other taxes. Toll tax, stamp duty that I just told you while transferring the property rights, registration fees, and then education cess, surcharge, dividend distribution tax. All tax needs to be paid by the citizens of India. This is the new GST taxation system. Direct tax, indirect tax. Direct tax remains same, income tax. Indirect tax are intrastate, interstate. In intrastate, there is a CGST, central government GST, SGST, and IGST. Okay. The central GST is merged out of these taxes. Central excise, additional excise, service tax, countervailing duty, additional duty of custom, surcharge, education and secondary, higher secondary cess. So those are clubbed into the central GST. In state GST, it would be VAT, sales tax, purchase tax, entertainment tax, luxury tax, lottery tax, state surcharge and cess, and so these are the classifications how these taxes are merged into GST. But we pay for purchase, we pay for entertainment, we pay for luxury. Only name changed. Every purchase has to be replaced by GST, entertainment, GST, luxury, GST. Everywhere you can see GST, not the separate name for the separate taxes. Now, GST is comprehensive tax mechanism wherein all major indirect taxes are clubbed into one, whether they are levied on services or goods. Only one name, GST. One of the aim of introducing GST is to reduce the cascading effect of taxes, which is the primary focus of VAT. But VAT system is not comprehensive enough to do so. So goods and service tax, it is the GST, we call it GST, goods and service tax, is comprehensive tax levied on from manufacturer to final consumption of goods, service at a national level. So GST would basically be a destination-based tax, will make life easier for business in India. So it is destination-based job, not the source-based job, right? GST started from 1st July 2017. I think it's getting blurred. So tax rate 0% for food grains. GST application rates are there. 5% on mass consumption like spices, tea, and mustard oil. 12% of washing machines, air conditioner, refrigerators. 18% on ordinary cars and bikes, and 28% on luxury cars. So if you look at this tax slab, the daily consumption items are levied very less taxes, 5%. Some middle manufacturing sector, product are levied 12%, and the luxury products are levied between 18 and 28%. So this is the way the richer have to pay more taxes, but the common things he has to pay less taxes. Okay. So direct tax versus indirect tax. Direct tax, which is paid by person to whom it is levied, and indirect tax, which is paid by the taxpayer indirectly. Direct tax can be shifted, indirect can be shifted. Direct tax cannot be shifted actually, which has to be paid by the person. For example, income tax. If I earn income, I have to pay income tax myself. My wife, my friend need not to pay my income tax. I personally have to pay income tax. But for the indirect tax, VAT, so if you purchase a car, you pay a tax to the car owner, showroom, owner, and showroom owner pay tax to the manufacturer, and then manufacturer paying the club tax to the government. So this is the indirectly, but the ultimate payer of the tax is the customer, right? Then direct tax is levied on person, individual, company, firm. Indirect tax is levied on the consumers of the goods and services. Direct tax is progressive, indirect tax is regressive. Levied on income, which is levied on sales and purchase, transaction paid to the IA. Then the income tax, capital gain tax, etc. are the example of the direct tax, and sales tax, entertainment tax are the example of indirect taxes. So that's all. I think I completed within time, 1 hour, 1 hour. Harshali ma'am?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yeah. It is
Yeah.
completed in 1
Sir,
hour.
yeah.
Yeah.
Student, I request to all of you, just turn your camera. So we'll take one photograph with sir.
Yeah.
Do you want any question? Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone want to ask any question? Please raise your hand and ask the questions. Thank you so much, sir, for the wonderful session.
questions?
I hope students, yeah.
So
Yeah, anyone want to ask any questions, guys?
no questions means they didn't understand anything.
Actually, tax is a very vast subject, sir. So
Ah.
indirect and direct, both we are mixed now. So it's a very difficult. So we need to conduct a separate session
Yeah,
for
actually
each.
what happened,
Yeah.
this is just to understand the tax structure, not the tax.
Yeah. Yes.
There are few chartered accountants. Those are practicing only one income tax, only one
Yes.
clause of income
Yeah.
tax.
Right.
Yeah. It's just to get the understanding. If you are the Indian citizen, so if you crossing a road, there is a red signal. You break the signal, you have to pay a fine. You cannot say, I didn't read the act.
Yes.
You cannot say, मुझे पता नहीं था भैया ऐसा होता है. I didn't the I'm not a law student, but still you have to pay. So same way, you have to understand the tax structure, not the tax.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's why day after yesterday and before that day, I told students that budget is started. So just watch out at least. So you just some kind of ideas you have to clear. How many slabs we have to study last
If you,
past years and current slab
yeah,
what
yeah,
it is.
I will
Like basic
suggest if
knowledge we
you,
need to understand about the
exactly,
tax and
exactly.
the of tax.
You
Yes,
know,
sir.
yesterday, Sakal newspaper and other newspaper have published separate, supplements on the tax analysis
Yes,
that
yes.
the student can analyze, right? So it's very, very easy to grasp. It's a visual graphic they have used for showing some differences or highlighting the, main points from the tax.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sir, could you refer to our students for a GST? Because third sem it's a subject na indirect taxation. So could you
Yeah.
refer them how they studied for their exam,
You
especially
know,
indirect tax?
yeah. You know, for this GST, it's very simple. There is nothing like, it's very simple. They put it, in a simple way. You have to just understand what are the tax slabs for different products. And
Yeah.
the central, so there is nothing, there is no requirement by like excise. You have to explain something why excise is different, why it is duty. But for GST,
Yeah.
it's not that. It's not like that.
Right, sir.
Yeah, it's very simple. It's very easy. Only you have to study the critics made by the other people when they GST imposed. They were saying that hawkers also has to pay GST. So why it is? It's not good. But after
Yes.
the 4 or 5 years, it's now shaken. GST is good. It's good to implement GST other than VAT. The person who is work in the environment of VAT and excise duty, he said, "Bhai, ye
Yeah.
GST is very good. VAT is very complicated. Very
Yes, yes,
complicated."
very complicated. Service tax,
Yeah,
VAT, and their calculations,
exactly.
excise. It's a very
Yeah,
complicated. But now it's very easy because one nation, one
exactly.
tax. Now it's really easy to
Very easy.
work with our students. Yeah.
Right.
So thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Such a
Thank
wonderful
you.
session you have done. Whatever the
Thank you,
knowledge
ma'am.
and experience to share with our students. I hope they understand and they really
Hope
use
so.
exams and all. Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Hope so. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Good day, sir.
Good day. Good day.
Thank you, sir.
Student, please fill the feedback form of your session. फोटो मैंने निकाल ली है सर आप